Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Happy Sunday. Beautiful weather. We had a family wedding yesterday. My cousin Erica got married, and really beautiful outdoor wedding. The wedding itself was at a church, but then they had everything outside in their backyard, her mom's backyard. The tent was gorgeous. Everything was just, there was a sunflower field in the background that was like kind of her theme. So it was really pretty. And I just want to show you, as like one of the things that they had were these adorable sunflower cookies. So the girls and I enjoyed some of these this morning. The kids didn't come to us for the wedding. It was just my husband and I. We got away. It was nice. The girls babysat Cameron. And it was just a really good time, seeing a lot of family we haven't seen in a while and stuff like that. So it was a good time. But now I'm on to Mexican food today. So my husband actually asked me this question today. When was the last time I made enchiladas? I have not made enchiladas yet for him. He likes enchiladas, but it wouldn't be his favorite meal that he would get at like a Mexican restaurant. He loves like the fajitas and things like that he's had. So I tend to go towards enchiladas because I haven't made them at home. Because I know it's at like his favorite Mexican thing, but I've already made some, so I need to show you guys where my hot is. Here they are. So I made mine in 2 batches today so that I could show you guys and taste them. But here is the finished product of my first batch. So as you can see, these are, I should have bought mini tortillas, but actually I bought the full size and cut them on half, and you'll see that. But here are my enchiladas. So I'm going to keep these warm over here, and I will try them at the end of the video after I show you guys how I make these. So I've kind of already done some of the work because of cutting the recipe in half. So I kind of have everything already portioned out. I have exactly what I need here. I'll post the recipe so you guys can see it. But it starts by sweating some onions. So you get them translucent and stuff, and then you're adding them to your chicken mixture. So easy, simple hack on the chicken. I bought a rotisserie chicken. It calls for it actually in the recipe that I used, or it says to use like 3 to 4 cups of chicken. So a rotisserie chicken, this is half of what I got off of the rotisserie chicken, and I really pulled that thing apart. So I'm just gonna put my onions, and so my onions are already done, so I don't need to like worry and sweat those or anything already. And then I'm gonna add my chicken in right away. And then I'm just going to mix these two together. Oops, I got it a little too hot here. It says over medium heat when you're doing the onions, so, a little bit slower. You don't want to burn the onions. So I've got everything mixed together. This potentially could be a little bit, you're going to make a little bit more, or you can fill your tortillas a little bit more full. I would say that 3 cups of chicken would be sufficient for what this recipe calls for. So, all right, I've got that in there. So now here's where I'm adding a little bit of fun stuff that the recipe doesn't call for to make it my own. So it didn't call for any chilies, so I've just bought a can of green chilies, and I'm just adding to my comfort level what I want to put in there. And then also some red pepper. So I just thought it'd be a fun little addition to add a little bit of color. So now I'm going to mix that part in. Just give you a little something more on the inside. Get this down. I also am using my hot burner on my stove, so the one that does the most. So I've got it really turned down here. All right, so then the next step calls for adding just a little bit of enchilada sauce, just enough to kind of add some flavor. And then the rest of your enchilada sauce is what you're using to cover it all. So it's 1 can of enchilada sauce to make your full recipe. So because you're going to have it in the casserole dish that you're using and you're putting it over the top, you don't need as much on the inside. So I have just enough in here to add some of that flavor to the meat. Stirring carefully. My pan, it seems to be just about the perfect size here. I don't know if you guys can hear the sizzling that's going on, but it's smelling so good. Not to mention I already made some, so the house already smells really, really good. But, making it in 2 pans like this, when we don't have the girls, making, 2 smaller portions, I can freeze the other one, and then we can just reheat it later. So I have it all mixed in here. Now again, I have some fresh parsley from my garden. I also added a little bit of my dried cilantro. I didn't grow fresh cilantro this year. So I'm going to put about half of what I have here. So this was a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to put like 1/8 of a cup in there, just sprinkle it in. And then I have a half a cup of sour cream, and I added some cumin to it just for some additional flavor. So now that's your next step to mix in while the heat is still on your stove. That is done. So this is what is making your creamy filling inside of your enchiladas, because all of this is going on the inside. So I would love to hear from you guys. Where have you had the best enchiladas in Waukesha? There are a lot of, Mexican restaurants to choose from. There are some that, are really well known for one certain thing that they make, or a couple certain things that they make. My husband loves the fajitas at La Estacion. I can't remember what it was called that he had at Casa Noble, but he loved it. I loved it. We loved everything. It was great shrimp. It was really, really good. So would love to hear where I can get great enchiladas in Waukesha, or where you think are the best enchiladas in Waukesha. So, all right, now that this is done and all mixed together, you're going to turn off your heat for this next step. I'm going to use so I have 1 cup of cheese here. The recipe does call for 2 to 3 cups of cheese, or 2 to 3 cups of cheese to go in initially, and then a little bit more to sprinkle on the top. I cut that down a little bit. It sounded a little too cheesy for me. I know in Wisconsin we don't really know what that means, but it did seem a little too cheesy for me. So I'm going to take about half of this. I'm going to sprinkle it in and add it to the inside mixture. And you just need to mix this until it's all melted together. And in typical Sarah fashion, I spilt some over the side, which is going to be fun to clean up after. I cannot make a meal on this stove, I swear. I could be warming up the easiest thing that you would think, couldn't possibly get messy, and I will spill it and make a mess on my new stove. So, all right, so I have all of my cheese. I'm just kind of folding it around because my pan is slightly smaller than I probably should have gone with. But, all right, this is my inside filling now. So, now we're going to get the pan ready. So I'm going to, by the magic of what I'm doing, and because I prepped so well, I'm going to switch things around so you can see everything that's going on. Okay, so because I bought the large size tortillas, I am going to grab 4 of these total. Just want to double check how many are in here. Nope, just 3. So 3 tortillas. And so this recipe would have made a total of 6 large tortillas. It did say 10 to 12. Maybe I'm filling mine a little too full. Maybe you do need more filling, but I thought that they looked good with the amount of stuff that I put inside. And I'll show you that at the end. So I just cut them with a knife straight down the middle. So now I've got 6. So what I do is first, this is sprayed with Pam, and now I'm going to put just enough of the enchilada sauce on the bottom for a little bit more flavor. And I'm just going to kind of shake it around in there. Doesn't have to touch every part of the pan on the inside, but just to get a lot of it all over the bottom. A little bit more of that flavor. So now I'm going to take a tortilla, and I'm just going to put... It says, I don't actually know, if you were truly supposed to do this exactly how the recipe said, how that can is supposed to stretch as far as it's supposed to with how much that they say. So maybe buy 2 cans if you really want to have the enchilada flavor. But like I said, the sauce is already in the mixture. The sauce is going to go over the top of them. And then they say to put a little bit on the inside. So all I did was truly just a little bit on the inside. Now I'm going to scoop in some of my mixture. And then I'm actually going to move the tortillas aside. And then I'm just going to fold it. Oh, you can barely see that. Let me move this over a little bit more so you can see it. Okay, so I'm just going to take the long way of the circle, and I'm going to tuck that little bit under, and then roll, roll, roll. And then, oops, I lost a little chicken out the back. I'm going to go like that. Try and show you guys. So it's decent sized roll there. And because of the pan that I'm using, that's also the reason why I cut my tortillas in half. If you were using a regular 9x13, you could just roll these and lay them all down the whole pan. But because I'm doing it in 2 separate pans so we can freeze some of it and have it later, and so I can show you guys the final effect as I'm making them, you can just line them in here this way. So as you can see on this one, pan's still too hot to pick up. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 is on the top. So I will spare you guys the time of me rolling all of these, but I will just show you one more time. So I'm going to grab one of my tortillas. I'm going to put a little bit of the enchilada sauce on the inside for some additional flavor. I'm going to grab some of my chicken. I'm just kind of, you know, knowing that I need to make 6 of these, I'm kind of portioning it out so that I know that I have enough meat for 6. All right, so then taking my tortilla, kind of tucking it under, pushing in if anything falls out, and then pushing it right up against its buddy so that I can fit all of these in here. So that's how that's gonna go. And then I'm gonna sprinkle the enchilada sauce that I have left over the top of all of them, and then I'm gonna use a spoon to kind of, you know, thin it over and make sure it gets, you know, mostly all over the top of them. Add more cheese, top with parsley. Then you're gonna cover it with aluminum foil, cook it for about 15 minutes with the foil on, take the foil off, and cook for around another 10 minutes. It's to your doneness. I wanted them a little bit more crispy on the outside, so I went a little higher on the time. The temperature of the oven is 350. So I'm gonna finish this one up off camera, but I'm gonna try one of these right now for you guys. So I'm gonna grab myself a plate. And the hardest part, of course, is always getting that first one out of your pan. So I'm gonna grab, my rubber spatula is stuck inside a whisk. There we go. All right, I'm gonna grab this one right here on the end. Hopefully easier to get to. Chop it down. Awesome. It's still stuck. Please hold. It does not want to let go of its friend. All right, little finger action there. It's my food, I can do what I want. Let me grab my fork. All right, let me show you guys this up close on the camera here. So here is my very steamy, I don't know if you guys can see the steam, but here's my steamy enchilada. I would probably serve this for myself, a little bit more sour cream on top, maybe a little bit of, you know, chive or something like that, maybe a little bit of salsa. I don't know exactly how spicy this is, and I'm not a super spicy person, but here it goes, everybody. So here's my bite. I feel like Guy Fieri sometimes on his show, The Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, that he takes like too large of a bite and then he can't talk right away. Definitely get that great enchilada flavor. You get the flavor of the chicken and everything on the inside. The chicken isn't dry because I use that rotisserie chicken. It has a lot of, you know, I know people don't like the word moist, but it's definitely moist chicken. It's really good. It's really, really good. I'm going to like this, and I really hope that, you know, my husband likes mine, and we can have this more often as a family meal. So, took a second bite. That's really good. So, again, tell me your favorite places that you've gotten Mexican and, you know, enchiladas, especially around Waukesha. I would love to hear about that. I have some awesome things in the works as well I just want to tell you guys about real quick. I'm not going to totally give it away yet because it's still definitely in the works, but there's going to be some fun things coming up. Possibly the chance for you guys to, you know, see this happen live, you know, and join me in on the fun somewhere in Waukesha. Just finalizing some information and some details with some people downtown, and, you know, hopefully we can make it work and get you guys cooking with me and doing some of my favorite things. So I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. Next weekend, I will actually be up in St. Germain with my family, hoping to do something live for you guys. I don't know if it'll be via the campfire or if we go somewhere in downtown St. Germain and just show you what's going on up there, but it's time for our family vacation, so we're going to head up there and have some fun. Got a cabin on the water with my parents. We're going to take full advantage and enjoy it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you next weekend from further away than in Waukesha. But have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.